I left the music industry for many reasons, but there was by far one that was the biggest. I'm not here to tell you that I was making a ton of money or had industry clout. I did have a really cool lifestyle though. I met some really cool musicians, saw many concerts, and generally had a pretty crazy experience. I worked at a Beverly Hills talent agency where we represented some of the most talented creatives in Hollywood. Sure, it was sexy and glamorous, but frankly, I always had this lingering feeling that ultimately ended up driving me away. Today, I'll talk about that. I've actually been planning on making this video for a while, but I've kind of stalled. I've had to really work up the courage to tell my story. I figured that there's probably other people out there that are feeling this way or may have experienced something similar. So now it's time to share. It's personal, so buckle up your seatbelts. So, right after I graduated from college, I moved out to LA to pursue a career in the music industry. Shortly after moving out, I ended up receiving an offer to work at a talent agency. Now, if you don't know what a talent agency is, either Google it or watch Entourage. If you're too lazy to do both of those things, talent agents basically connect artists with the people who want to hire them. Anyways, I figured that if I pursued the agency route, I would basically help the agent book concerts for their clients. So fast forward, I'm helping book concerts for world-class musicians. Many of the deals that we were doing were multi-figure, where in many cases, artists more often than not would make more money from one show than my take-home pay in 1 year. Which frankly, looking back, wasn't really hard to beat, but still, kind of impressive. It was glamorous. I saw many cool shows for free, including Coachella in 2019. I met some really cool artists, managers, and promoters along the way. For almost 2 years, I learned pretty much everything there is to know about being a music agent. I was coasting, having a really fun experience, but I began to lose sight of my purpose. I originally went to work in the music industry to help creatives be more creative, to be a part of a larger message. And honestly, at this talent agency, all I was really doing was sitting at a desk, typing out booking deals, and basically just servicing the administrative needs of my boss. It sounds like your typical corporate desk job, because it was. And honestly, I was beginning to get complacent. And in the back of my mind, I was starting to develop this feeling that wouldn't really leave me. The harder that I tried to make it go away, the more present it seemed to be. In the music industry, there were a lot of pros that I already mentioned. Cool people, lots of really cool free concerts, awesome connections, sexy lifestyle. But there were a lot of cons. Toxic work culture, lack of work-life balance, super low pay, benefits weren't really great, and so on. But there was one thing that ultimately ended up really driving me away. I always felt like I was compromising my own creativity by representing someone else's. And to be honest, I feel like that's a pretty common feeling shared amongst people working in the entertainment industry. I just feel like we tend not really talk about it as much or don't even realize that we feel that way because so much of us innately want to just be creative ourselves. So every day, this little inner voice just kept nagging me, kept getting louder. When I'd be on the phone talking with an artist about their music, when I'd meet with a manager and talk about how great the show was last night, I always felt like I wanted to be the person performing or releasing new music. So with all of this in mind, I began to realize a really important lesson. In your career, people often will give you the advice that you should pursue what you're passionate about. I disagree. Well, for the most part. When you pursue what you're passionate about and it ends up not really fulfilling you, that's when it really starts to become an issue. And that's kind of like the irony behind it all. So I'm not saying don't pursue what you're passionate about, but I think that you should strike a balance between passion and practicality. I ended up leaving the music industry to pursue a career in tech, where I ultimately ended up much happier. I now make music in my free time, which I have a lot more of. I was able to put my creativity first rather than representing someone else's, and as a result, have a much higher quality of life. Look, you may pursue your passion and end up way happier than I was. Everyone's experience is different, but if there's one thing to take away from this video, it's this. Go experiment, pursue your passion, have successes, have failures, make mistakes and learn along the way. But don't ever let fear stop you from further experimentation. I spent far too much time and energy pursuing my career as a passion because others told me that it would. And I ultimately burned out and never really went back. But I'm glad that I went for the ride because I never would have learned what I didn't like. And sometimes that's more important than learning about what you do like. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this content, please support my channel. Wow, that was really formal sounding. If you like this video, give me a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. And of course, I always love to hear from you, so leave a question or a comment or any sort of thought below. Until next time, peace.